Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the University of Manchester China Centre's live streaming room. Actually, this is a series of lockdown lectures. We actually especially prepared for people who are suffering from this academic control at the moment, especially in Shanghai. Joining us today is Mr. Terence Clark, Executive Coach and Founder for Growth Hub and Daily Coach. Actually, This is the second time that Terry have been invited by China Center to deliver talk to our alumni and friends. And today's topic is very interesting, especially very timely for this challenging time. It's called Strategies for Motivation and Resilience. And I believe most of us are coping with the lockdown anxiety at the moment. So thank you very much, Terry, for being with us this afternoon and share with us your insights into how actually we can build up our confidence and strategy to keep a positive mindset in this pandemic time. Thank you, Terry. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sherry. It's my pleasure. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone's feeling good today. For those of us in Shanghai, it's a bit of a wet day, but it's quite nice because we're inside, nice and warm and dry. So I am going to share my screen in just a moment. I'm just making sure all of my stuff is working. Okay, share my screen now. Make sure I share the right one. Okay, so thank you very much, Sherry. So hi, everybody. I'm Terry. I'm a personal growth and development coach and also the founder of Growth Hub, which is a motivational WeChat community, and Daily Coach, which is a WeChat channel with lots of great content on mindset, success, and personal growth. I'd like to thank you all for making the time to be with us today with myself from the University of Manchester. And I hope what I'm going to talk about today can help with the lockdowns. So I'm going to share a few things. Today, we're going to talk about coping with lockdown, resilience, and how to thrive after lockdown. Now, it's completely natural to feel anxious. There's a good chance that we've all experienced feelings of anxiety in response to our current situation. And for most people, these feelings are normal because this is how our brain is hardwired. It cautions us at times of danger and times of the unknown. And in fact, many situations where we have a certain level of anxiety and stress can actually help boost our performance in specific tasks. For instance, you might be experiencing a heightened level of anxiety the days before a public event or doing a presentation. And this is completely normal. Psychologists believe that anxiety is your body's natural response to stress. And this stress triggers a system in your brain that actually helps you perform. So a little anxiety now and then is okay. And it's your body's way of preparing you for change. But that said, as we know, not every anxious feeling is normal. And for some, these feelings can be overwhelming and it can really impair your ability to enjoy life, especially in our current situation. And some of us might treat these everyday events as life or death situations. And it can become a disorder that isn't a good place to be in. Fortunately, in most cases, there is a way out of anxiety. And one of the first steps to finding that way out is to dive into your mind and listen to what it might be trying to tell you. It's all about accepting your anxiety, embracing it, and understanding it. There's no shame in being anxious. It's okay to not be okay. And I would prefer not to have to put this point across as obvious, right? But sadly, because of how this feeling of anxiety can be trivialized or stigmatized, it's really important to let everybody know who has anxiety right now that you're not alone in this situation. And by accepting your anxiety, by accepting your stress, you will overcome it. As negative as the feelings might be, your mind is more than capable of handling the situation when you train it to be mindful of its thoughts. Now, I understand that this might not be easy for many of us. However, with time and practice, you can train your mind to do as you wish. So practicing meditation or mindfulness can really help you achieve that. And I will talk more about this later in the presentation. So I'd like to talk about 6 strategies to help you cope in the current lockdown. And I follow these myself. It's not easy to do every day. We all have bad days, but these are really good strategies. So number 1 is swap your expectations for hope. So in a world of ongoing lockdowns, opening up lockdowns, expectations can be dangerous. And when the future is unpredictable, plans become a source of anxiety and stress. You cannot really have expectations on anything. Now, you can hope to do things, but the second you expect them to happen, you're going to be disappointed. So hope rather than expect. Number 2, this is really important, limit the news you're watching. So when we first had the lockdowns in 2020, we were all looking at the news every day, looking for updates, probably spending a few hours every day watching. And right now, I really advise against doing that in our current climate. It's an incredibly negative and demoralizing place to be right now. I'm not saying switch off completely, but maybe you need to know how many cases are out that day or what the restrictions are, can you get delivery, etc. But then focus on something else. Okay. Number 3, please be selective about who you engage with. We're only having conversations with a limited number of people each day. So choose ones that are positive. It can have a remarkable impact on your mood and outlook. It's a good lesson in life for all of us to hang around the people that make us feel good, particularly right now. Some of us might be locked in a house of people who are quite negative, and that does make it quite tough. But think about, who do you know that's positive? Who can you talk to? Who can you share with? And then schedule time to chat with them. So number 4, please create things to look forward to. One of the most important things you can do in lockdown right now is have things to look forward to. When you go to bed at night, think to yourself, what am I looking forward to most tomorrow? And if you can't think of anything, organize something in that moment. It could be a call with a friend. It could be an hour to read your favorite book, a walk with your pets if you're able to go outside. Whatever gives you a sense of anticipation. Scheduling something you're looking forward to the next day or in that moment is really important, because optimism is a big part of being happy and having a growth mindset. Number 5, be selective who you follow on social media. We've been seeking connection and distraction like never before, because a lot of us are alone. So as long as we're going to find ourselves just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through Douyin or WeChat or Xiaohongshu, we should curate these feeds to our benefit. So careful what we're looking at. That means don't follow any people or pages that bring you negative emotions. Don't spend even 1 minute have a negative emotion coming up, because it's going to be heightened. You'll be more jealous. You'll be more angry. You'll be more sensitive than usual. And you'll be more offended than usual, because we're just so on edge. So make smart decisions about who you're following. Don't follow that person having a wonderful holiday in Sanya because you can't go outside. And think about saying, you know what, for this little bit of time, I'm not going to follow that person. Number 6, do something that's good for you. Now, this is not another recommendation to go and try baking your own bread, although I did try and bake bread and it turned out okay. It's about steering your life in a positive direction. Have something that when you look back on this current situation, you can say, if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have learned this. So for example, if it wasn't for COVID last year, if it wasn't for lockdown, I wouldn't have started exercising more, or I wouldn't have learned how to cook, or I wouldn't have learned another language. It could just be taking half an hour to yourself at night to do something beneficial for your physical or your mental or even your financial health. You could start simply by doing at-home exercises in the evenings, or even swapping your nightly red wine for a green tea or an orange juice. Now, this is purely an example. I'm not being prescriptive. I'm not telling you what to do. Some of you might be thinking, I hate this advice. I just want to have a drink at night. This is what makes me happy at the moment. So you can get stuffed. Who's this guy telling me what to do? All I'm saying is develop a routine in your day that you wouldn't have developed if it wasn't for COVID. In a year's time, when you look back on this time in your life, have something where you can go, that bit, not the whole thing, but that little bit was good for me. So now I'd like to talk a bit about resilience and how we can build our mental muscles. Now, when we think of the word crisis, we often think of storms, floods, economic downturns like a market crash, but our current situation can also be thought of a crisis when it comes to our daily lives, and particularly our mental resilience. Now, in order to adapt swiftly to any kind of crisis, you need to be organized, you need to stay calm, and this, of course, is easier said than done. But this is where resilience training can come in. Now, what's resilience training? According to the Mayo Clinic in the US, resilience training focuses on 4 key areas. That's emotional, cognitive, and mental, physical, and spiritual resilience. Developing these areas can improve your quality of life, help you handle stressful situations more easily, and manage your anxiety by teaching you to view challenges as opportunities. If you're new to the concept of resilience training, here are some ways that you can start developing it right now. So number 1, start by clearing your mind. It's easy to get overwhelmed when we're in a crisis mode. So one of the first steps to successfully handling a stressful situation is to focus on calming and clearing your mind. You want to start by taking several deep breaths and observing your thoughts as they happen. This helps your heart beat slower, which reduces blood pressure and helps you stay calm and present in the moment. When you catch your mind starting to wander to stressful scenarios, accept it without judgment. Let it go and hold focus on a positive outlook instead. By keeping ourselves in the present moment, we can increase our capacity to cope and weather or manage all kinds of crises. You define your life by the choices you make every single hour of your life. If you slow the flow of your thoughts and utilize the time in between to rationalize your choices, you'll realize that nothing in life is worth stressing about. The key to shift your mind towards a state of mindfulness so that you bring it back to the present every time it slips away. This is the key. Staying mindful of your breathing patterns will help you find a way to settle your thoughts and overcome all that might be stressing you presently. As a result, you can zone out these situations that breed negativity and distress. And consequently, you'll also be able to get pretty good sleep. Number 2, don't overreact to your situation. It's easy to let our emotions get the better of us when we feel stressed. And losing our cool and overreacting won't help anything. It won't fix the situation. So when you start feeling stressed, do your best to remove your emotions from the situation and focus on fixing the issue at hand. Take a step back, think about your future and not just the present situation. Instead of focusing on how the current crisis is making you feel, step back and ask yourself, what is my ideal outcome and how can I achieve it? Then take steps toward that outcome instead of dwelling on these negative emotions. And remove yourself physically from the situation if you can. If you find your thoughts getting away from you, walk away. Studies have shown that walking helps us calm down. So if you can get outside for a short walk, or if you can only walk around your apartment, do this when you start to feel overwhelmed. You can also exercise. If you can take a break in a park or a green space or just on your balcony or just at the window, studies from Japan have shown that trees and plants emit aerosols that calm our minds and have significant positive impacts on our biology. So spending time in these spaces can help us think more clearly and reduce anxious thoughts and feelings. Number 4, take care of yourself. This is so important. Taking care of ourselves physically and mentally sets us up to be better prepared to react to crises in healthy ways. Regular exercise reduces stress hormone levels, improves bodily function, and builds physical resilience, while giving us a chance to physically step away, as I just said, from stressful situations. Really important, if you can, is eat a balanced diet and get a lot of sleep. This will help us manage emotion and improve memory and self-control and control our emotions more effectively. These are all attributes we need to respond to crises in healthy ways. Another great way to manage is to write how you're feeling. Journaling. So journaling during stressful periods can help decrease anxiety and help manage brooding feelings by helping you break away from cycles of obsessively thinking about what you're facing. Studies have shown that people with medical conditions and anxiety who write online for 15 minutes, 3 days a week, over 12 weeks, had increased feelings of well-being and fewer low mood episodes after just one month. And this continued throughout the following months as well. Number 6, talk to a friend or a mentor. There's so many people out there that can help you to turn inward. It's easy to turn inwards during a crisis and to manage things on your own, but that's not good for you mentally. So instead, reach out to someone you trust, ask them how they would handle the situation. Don't be afraid to explore your feelings. Don't be afraid to explore your fears, and don't be afraid to explore ways to overcome the situation with your friend or your mentor. Getting a second opinion can clear your negative thoughts and create positive outcomes. Now, hopefully with the end of restrictions in sight, maybe, fingers crossed, we should take a look at how we can stay safe and thrive after this lockdown eventually ends. So at first, we've had it's had a very bad impact on us physically and mentally and emotionally, really. And I'd like to just give you some ideas, some tips based on some research on how we can really look after ourselves, how we can go back to the new normal after lockdown. And it's really hard to say precisely what it's going to look like, right? We've no idea. If the last 2 years have taught us anything, what we have to be is flexible, resilient, and adaptive. We are in uncharted territory where the situation can change really rapidly, rapidly, day by day. Now, thanks to researchers and frontline workers and the hard work and dedication, particularly of our volunteers here in Shanghai, we can see that this lockdown is now coming to an end. And what we need to start looking at is getting support and controlling what we can really control ourselves. So what does that mean by controlling what we can? So go back to talking about the news that you look at, the people you talk to. Control this aspect first. This is controlling what you can. Then we need to start looking at practicing self-care. So practicing self-care, this is after and how we're going to look after ourselves after the lockdown is over, is really about continuing with your mental health, your physical health, and making sure that you have time to yourself. When we are ready to go socializing again, I'm sure some of us will feel really anxious about the situation. What's it like to go and talk to people again? Am I going to be able to cope with big groups of people again because I've been on my own for a few months? Now, the answer to this is you just don't know, but you have to take that first step and you have to try. If you don't try, nothing's going to happen, okay? And then also we need to start looking at our physical and mental well-being, eating well and sleeping well. We are now very stressed every day. We don't know what's going to happen day by day. And when we go back to being out of lockdown again, we will also going to have anxiety again. Is it going to happen? We're going to be locked down again next week. So keep looking after yourself physically, your exercise. Make sure you're eating well. Make sure you are sleeping well. And when we start to return to work, we've got to be really mindful of any new regulations or any new systems that may come into place. When we're at work, we need to start really practicing personal hygiene, making sure that our desks are clean, making sure that our windows are open for ventilation, and making sure that we're not really in too much close contact with people when we get back to normal. But what I really want you to think about, guys, is when you're getting back to work, when you're getting back to socializing, embrace it. Embrace it. Embrace this growth mindset. Okay? Now, a growth mindset, as Carol Dweck, who's a Stanford psychologist, she coined this term. A growth mindset is taking all the negative opportunities and making all the negative situations and making an opportunity out of it. So let me give you an example. Say you want to do, or you're having a presentation at work, you haven't really practiced for it, but you're confident that you can do it. but it doesn't go very well. If you have a fixed mindset, you're going to sit there and you're just going to think, that was terrible. I'm never going to do another presentation again because that's all I can do. That's fixed. That's my fixed ability. I was born with this and I can never get better. Now, if you have a growth mindset is where you believe that all of these attributes, these skills are not innate. They're not built in. You can actually develop them. So you would take that poor presentation and say, what did I do wrong? How can I do it better? This is your growth mindset. And this is where I want you to apply this growth mindset to the current situation we're in. So yeah, it's not great. You can't go out. We might be struggling to get food. We can't see our friends. But think about what you may have learned during this time. Have you taken up a new hobby? Have you learned a new skill? Have you reconnected with friends or family that you haven't really spoke to for very long? We can find a positive in all of these negative situations. Perhaps positive isn't the right word, but we can find something good in every situation. And this is the growth mindset. You can really build your mind to have this. And it's about embracing every situation you're in and taking something good from it. It does take practice. It's not something that's simple that we can do overnight, much as resilience training is not the same and mindfulness training is not the same also. So there's many tools out there that we can use to build these mindsets. And I have a 6-week program, which I'll send to everyone in the group, or the University of Manchester can share with everyone after this presentation. So guys, I'm Terry, or Terence. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope I've been able to give you some really good tips. And whatever I've spoken about today, these are some tips that I have based on working with my clients, based on research, based on psychology. But whatever I've said today, what I want you to do is take what works for you and also go out and do your own research. Go out and also find other tools, other practices that you really feel that help you, and make your own toolbox. And this is really how you can thrive. This is how you can get through our current situations. And I want you to keep in mind, you're stronger than you think. You really are stronger than you think. And these days are going to pass. They will pass. It's a short time in all of our lives. Even if it's another month, it's a really short time in the grand scheme of things. And we can use this time to build our mental muscle. We can use this time to learn another language. We can use this time to write that book. One of my friends is really busy writing her book right now. We can use this time to go out and write a killer app if we're coders, right? We can use this time to reconnect with people. We can use this time to do something for our community. So please stay strong, and these days will pass. Thank you so much, guys. I'm Terry, and I hope that was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry. I really like your last slide saying thrive after lockdown rather than survive. I like the word thrive. So that actually can really integrate your idea or concept of growth mindset. So in the current circumstances, I don't think we can do anything. We can change outside, external environment, outside world. What we can do actually not only adapt the situation ourselves, but also make a little bit change by ourselves, take care of ourselves and our families, eat well and sleep well. And that's very, very important to keep the well-being during this lockdown.
Exactly.
So, So we do have some very interactive conversation in the chat box.
Okay.
And one of our alumni asking, are you being locked down as well in Shanghai?
Yes. So I can't actually, I'm in the live stream, but I can't actually see any questions. I can just see the video. So if there are questions, if you can just let me, because I can't actually see the questions. Let me just turn off my screen so you can actually, there we go, you can actually see me. So yes, I have been locked down, not as long as some people. Luckily, so I'm quite lucky. Because I'm in Puxi, I've been locked down. I was locked down for 20 days. And then I was allowed out on the 20th day into our compound, into our Xiaoqu. And then on yesterday, we were locked down again. So I had 2 days of beautiful sunshine walking around. Been able to did some exercise outside, took my dog for a walk. But yeah, I'm in we're all in the same situation right now. I'm locked down again.
And Terry, I actually have been noticed that after the lockdown, you have record some very nice and short videos and put on your channels and to share with people for free. And
Yeah.
what kind of aspiration for you to do this during the lockdown time?
So why did I decide to do it? Great question, Sherry, actually. So I've always written about this sort of stuff, and I work with people around these sort of things. And then somebody just said, look, people don't want to read at the moment. People are sort of they're on their phones or they're working and they just want to listen to something. So I actually had no idea how to do a podcast, literally no idea how to do it because I'm not very good with technology. And then somebody said, do a video. So I did the first video, which was just a few days. It was before Pushi was locked down, actually. And I did a video of the 6 strategies, which is now, that's gone viral. That's about 40,000 views. And I got a lot of really good feedback from it, where people said it was very helpful for them. It was practical. It was very helpful. And could I do more videos? So I did that video, and then I've tried to do some more. And what I've tried to do is just keep them around 7 minutes, Sherry, rather than doing, really long videos, because if we think about it, we only want to consume short things now. We're in the Douyin world, we're in the Xiaohongshu world, so let's do something quick. So I'm trying to be practical, because that's me as well. I'm just a very directive person. So I'm trying to do practical things that are quick, and yeah, of course, absolutely free, because if it can help someone, it's also helping me. It's helping me with my own process, my own emotions, and helping me to cope with this situation. It's helping me maintain a growth mindset as well.
That sounds great. So you're actually personally taking action by yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not every day. Some days have been difficult. But yeah, these sort of my own videos have helped me in a way, without sounding. Yeah, I don't want to sound the wrong way, but the videos have helped me, because I've had a couple of very bad days, very bad days myself.
Yeah. So Terry, also, today is a World Book Day.
Yes.
So do you have any ideas of recommend some books to our audience to read during the lockdown?
Yes.
What
I actually have 2 books.
You would like to recommend to us?
Yeah. Well, I actually have 2 books. One is called The Anti-Anxiety Formula, and the other one is called Bulletproof Motivation.
Anti-Anxiety Formula.
Yeah, the Anti-Anxiety Formula. So, and the Bulletproof Motivation. And parts of the stuff I've talked about today are aspects of each book. And it's just some tools. They're not very big. They're only about 30 pages each. And they have the ebooks, and they have some bonus materials with them. There is some mind maps, some checklists, some things like this to help you work through. And it's just practical tips based on psychology, based on coaching, based on neuroscience. So those 2 ebooks are available. I'm not sure how we would share that with people, but I do have a QR code where people can download them directly. Yeah, go ahead and download those. But I read them myself. I've read them quite a few times. And just practical knowledge, Sherry, that I hope will help people. It's not pseudoscience. It's not preaching to people. Here's some practical tips that I hope will help.
Terry, all of you have a special affiliation to this city. So during this very special and challenging time, do you have any advice or suggestion for them to build up confidence and to live well, and say something to them, please?
Well, I have a video on building confidence on my channel. So the channel, if you go to WeChat, the WeChat video channel, it's Daily Coach Mei Dong Li. So Daily Coach Mei Dong Li. So Daily Coach Everyday Motivation. And there's a video on there. But guys, to build confidence, there's so many different ways you can do this. There's so many ways you can build confidence. And it's just about believing in yourself, right? I mean, when we grow up, and I had this myself, when we grow up, we're told you can only do this, you can only do that, you're not good at this, you're not good at that. But in general, if we put our minds to things and we work hard, we generally can do a lot of things. I mean, I know personally I couldn't be a doctor or a surgeon. I'm just not great at maths, right? I'm just not great with numbers. So I wouldn't try to do that. But I know there's many things that I could go and study and I could do, and that's having confidence. And I've built my confidence over the years. I've not always been confident at all. I know that's hard to believe, Sherry, that I've not always been confident. But I've been, and what I've done is I've made plenty of mistakes over my life, but don't be afraid to make mistakes and build from there. So with a growth mindset, confidence can come from there. And working on yourself, doing something every day, working on yourself every day can help you too. There's a lot of tools that you can use. I'm just going to give you an example. If I open this and so we can talk about if you read 20 pages a day, how many pages? I mean, that's a few books a year. If you save 100 renminbi a year, that's 36,500 renminbi, right? If you do all these little things every day, you can lead to massive impact. So building your confidence, if you're nervous, say you don't like talking to people, try and talk to one new person a day, even if it's just on WeChat, and then build that up, build it up. If a big part of our lives in China when it's normal business is networking, right? And a lot of people don't like going networking because it's what do I say? What are they judging me? Well, guys, everyone's thinking the same thing when you go networking. Everyone's nervous. Everyone's thinking, are these people going to be interested in what I'm talking about? You just got to go and try it. And this is what I tell people when I'm working with them for coaching. You have to just try. And if you fail 10 times, get back up 10 times and try again, right? And I love this quote, the only competition you have is you. So look in that mirror every morning. That's your competition. And also, when that's your competition, you can train your mind to think the right way. The mind is incredibly powerful. So if you are thinking in a good way, if you are giving yourself affirmations, if you are confident you can do things, you will be confident you can do things. You will have bad days, but you have to be maybe 85% in a good mindset and managing that other 25%, because you can't be positive. You can't be sort of motivated every day. It's human nature. It's not possible to be this type of person every day. Everyone has down days, and that is absolutely fine to have it. But you need to then realize when you're having these down days and learn from it and move forward. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Terry. Yeah. And it's quite encouraging. And let me just check whether we have further questions from our audience.
Yeah, there's one about the business environment, but this is not about the business environment. Today is talking about how can we manage. So I'll briefly, none of us know what the business environment is going to be like, and I wouldn't want to comment on it. But thank you for the question, whoever asked the question.
So one of the audience asked, can you share your channel, Nick?
I don't know. How can I share it? Maybe in the chat. Hold on. Let me see if I can write a comment in here.
Yeah, you can.
Definitely. I'm trying. Okay, hold on. Right. I'm just don't bleed. Okay. Yeah, I can't actually share it. I can't say anything. So what I'll do is I'll write it here, and then if maybe Sophie or someone could share it in the live stream.
We can actually do that later.
Okay. Yeah, let me do this now. Sorry. Yeah, and that's yeah. There you go.
Do you practice your Mandarin every day at home? I see you speak very good Mandarin now.
Yes, I do, because I've been practicing every day, because also I deal with clients in Chinese as well. And yes, I have to practice. Even though I've been here a long time, I still have to practice.
Do you want to say a few words in Chinese?
现在我不要说中，我不要说中文的，我不要说中文的。
Very good.
如果你去我的 channel 还有一个，我也有一个中文版，那个6个 strategy 还有中文版，你们都可以去我的 Daily Coach 没有动力在那个微信的那个 video channel， 然后你可以给个赞，然后关注一下。
That's great Mandarin. Very impressive, Terry.
Yeah, and the books certainly, Sophie. I'll write the books now. So it's the anxiety
something.
Anxiety formula and bulletproof motivation. And I have a separate QR code for that, which I've sent to Sophie, and people can scan that there as well. Okay, and those books are on special offer at the moment. Yeah, because it's World Book Day.
Great. So, time conscious, Karen. I think, thank you very much for your advice and
thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
And thank you to everybody on who's joined today. I hope I've been able to give you some tips. But again, please take whatever tips there are and build your own toolkit. And also, I just like to say, if you are really in mental distress or anything right now, please go and see a mental health professional. There's a lot of great free resources in English and Chinese that you can find. So if you are in this sort of bad mental state at the moment, please go and get help. It's okay to not be okay, guys. There's no shame in it. Okay.
That's great. To echo your advice, just want all our audience keep safe and stay healthy. Yeah. So that's the end of today's live streaming session. And our next session will be 8th of May in the International Mother's Day. So in the session, we have invited the lecturer of arts, talking about how arts can, help our mental health. This will be, led by one of our alumnus, Simon Zhou, to lead this dialogue with our arts lecturer. So stay tuned. I look forward to seeing you soon next time. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, guys. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.